Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. And welcome to another episode of Glass Half Full, a podcast and a safe platform where we talk with a variety of teachers, entrepreneurs, spiritualists, uplifters, givers, shakers, and serenaders. Everyone has a lesson to learn and a lesson to share. Let's use our life experiences to enrich someone's heart, mind, spirit, and soul. Through sharing our experiences, we can be a learning inspiration for one another. I'm your host, Chris Levens. Let's welcome today's guest. Today's guest is Nina Minshull. She is the owner and director of a music and drama school based in the UK. She can be found busy with lessons in person as well as teaching online. Nina is working with a variety of ages, teaching and nurturing her students to enjoy music and the expressions it brings. Nina has her undergraduate degree in drama and English literature from Plymouth University and her master's in theater practice from Exeter University. She is known to all as an educator, confidant, and friend. Let's welcome Nina Minshull. Hello, welcome, Nina. Good afternoon.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for taking some time out of your schedule to be here with us today. We really appreciate it.
No worries.
How's your day going so far?
Yeah, it's going good. It's been really quite nice weather in the UK, which makes a nice change.
Yeah, you know what? That's true because you all often have cloudy, rainy weather, right? Even in summer?
It is often yes, I would say it's pretty rainy here. And, we're not known for the best weather in the UK. So, yes, it's been nice to see some sunshine.
I know that's right. Well, let's jump right on in. So the first question I like to ask all my guests is that our lives are in spiritual design. Can you share your life layout or your blueprint with us? Meaning how you grew up, what kind of family did you come from? Do you have any siblings?
Sure. Yeah. So I was born in Osaka, in Hirokata, so in Japan. So I grew up there until I was about 6.
Mm-hmm.
I have mum and dad. But I was born into a Christian family.
Okay.
So two parents, both Christians, and then sibling-wise, I have a brother and a sister.
Okay.
Yeah, so I lived there till I was 6, and then we moved to the UK. So I would say basically all of my adult life has been in the UK.
Wow.
But I did spend the first 6 years in Osaka.
Wow. Okay, so are you mixed blood? Are you part Japanese as well?
I am, yeah. So I'm half Japanese and half British. So Japanese from my mum's side.
Okay. Nice. That's awesome. So let me ask you, how long have you been in business for?
So we've just reached a decade.
Yes,
so
congratulations.
10 years.
Woo!
Thank you.
That's awesome.
It really goes quick. It doesn't feel like 10 years.
So can I ask you, why has your business been so successful for so many years?
I wouldn't say it's just one thing, but I would say with what we do, because we're working one-to-one with students or in small groups,
Okay.
it's really about coming alongside the student, bringing out what's already inside of them, but bringing out their best qualities.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like with our school, it's somewhere that students really feel like they can be themselves.
Oh,
so I
nice.
think I think when you offer something like that, you don't have to do too much to actually keep the student. Because it's more about sort of going on a journey with the student and building that relationship.
It's true.
So I think in that sense, you don't have to do too much to keep the students. So a lot of our students, they've been with us for many years for that reason.
Nice.
Yeah.
What is the youngest student and the oldest? What's the difference in the age?
Okay. It would depend on the subject because we do offer quite a few subjects. I have gone as young as 3 years
What?
old for piano. Yeah. So
Wow.
if you try teaching a 3-year-old the piano, it's not the easiest, but we do try.
Wow, that's pretty
Um,
impressive.
yeah, and I would say the oldest, 70s, 80s. So we get the full
Wow.
range, and
Yeah.
male and female as well, because I feel like, at least with some of my friends, they sometimes perceive some of the subjects that we teach to be more female orientated.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, something like maybe like singing. For example, my brother would sort of say, would you get more girls doing that kind of thing, or more females? But
Mm-hmm.
honestly, it really is a mix. I would say all the subjects that we do, so singing or even piano or drama, we get a mix of ages, both male and female.
Wow.
So
Nice.
it's yeah, I feel like it sort of appeals to sort of quite a wide audience.
How many subjects are you teaching? How many kinds of classes are available?
So they are all coming under either music or acting. So are we talking about pre-COVID or post?
Well, why don't you tell us before and the after so we can see about the difference?
So, I mean, before it was still coming under either music or musical drama. So we were
Mm-hmm.
doing the three main ones that I think a lot of studios offer, or multi-instrument studios. So we
Mm-hmm.
were having guitar, voice, and piano.
Okay.
So then, as well as that, we were doing keyboard. We were doing music theory, and then within the acting side, we'd do musical theatre, drama and speech and acting.
Mm.
And we were also offering some Japanese language classes as well at that time.
Wow.
That was the only non-musical drama
Mm-hmm.
subject. But this was pre-COVID.
Okay. How has it changed since Corona has come?
Yeah. It's more, I would say, weighted towards piano, drama, and singing.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have kept still kept quite a few. It's just that we've sort of streamlined the most popular ones.
Okay.
That's not to say we won't bring back the other subjects, but yeah, that's what we've done. Because the school here, we had to sort of close for a period of time. I don't know what it was like in Japan, but yeah, for a period of time we did have to close in the UK. So yeah, so it's more about sort of streamlining and making sure that the quality of what we do offer is still really good.
And that's important about the quality, even though regardless of how many subjects you're teaching or classes, to me, quality is everything. And once we start to chip off of, taking away from the quality, then things start to go down as far as product and presentation and all of that. So,
yeah, I agree. And I think, well, at least in the UK, you do get quite a lot of schools that don't do things quite the way that we do. So say if you take the music theatre or the acting side, you might find a lot of schools that try and really pack a lot of kids into one class, so say 30 kids in one class. That is something that we could do, but it's not something that I personally like to do, just because I just feel that if you're going to do that, and if you're going to do a show, say at the end of the term, you're going to get the more confident ones at the front and then maybe the shyer ones at the back. And I've been finding a lot of the ones that come to us, a lot of students, they might have been to a school like that before, not got what they wanted out of it, and then they come to us because we have that one-to-one or that small group format.
Sometimes the students do need that one-on-one attention. Some people don't do well in large groups. They kind of fall behind or, stepped over.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with doing it that way in a large group, because obviously there are a lot of kids and a lot of students that do benefit from that. Otherwise, they wouldn't have these big groups.
True.
But I'm just saying, for what we do, we like to do things a little bit different.
Nice. Nothing wrong with that. Let me ask you, what's one of the biggest risks you have ever taken? And it could be with your business or school, or it could be in your regular personal or regular life.
Yeah. I would say because I started the school a decade ago, I had really just graduated, or I think I was less than a year after having graduated. And for me, it was a big risk because I'm not from a business background. I didn't study business.
Mm-hmm.
So it really was a big risk because I've had to learn everything as I've gone along.
Mm. Amen on
I
that.
do. Yeah, yeah. As you know, you know this yourself.
It's true.
And because people that are, say, musicians or actors or teachers, they're not necessarily business people. Obviously, they can. Some people, some
It's
people
true.
do have those skills, and then some people, like myself, haven't necessarily come from that background.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a steep learning curve, and it is a big risk. And you know this, going from being employed or freelance, whatever it is that you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
to just working for yourself.
Yes.
There's all sorts of concerns and worries, and I think when you do it at the beginning, it can be quite overwhelming to start a business.
Very true. Very true.
So yeah, I would say that was a pretty big risk for me.
Well, it's panned out. It's panned out,
Thank you.
definitely, right? I always say nothing comes without taking risks. We have to be able to put something on the table to feel like we want to get something, or give up something that you feel that you really want to try to get something else. Playing it safe doesn't
Absolutely.
keep us. We don't really learn from playing safe. It's not something that I feel that, we want to feel like you can land on your feet in situations, and playing it safe doesn't give you that. But the risk, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
definitely.
I think it's a lot of it is linked to wanting to have control, that sort of intrinsic need to have control. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that when we feel that we don't have that control and we are taking those risks, there is going to be a leap of faith of some sort.
Yes, yes.
Because and I feel like some people don't always get there, or if they're happy, some people are just happy with their lives, just being comfortable, and that's completely fine.
Speak on it.
And then yeah, and then you get, and then for myself, I quite like to take a risk once in a while because I find it exciting to do something new
Mm-hmm.
and to take on a new challenge. But at the same time, I know that doesn't suit everybody.
It's true.
So
I
yeah.
always say there's a difference between being comfortable and complacent. And sometimes we mix up the two. And, we want to feel like being comfortable, we can still grow, but being complacent, you're not growing. You're stuck in the same thing, So I think it's nice to feel that, hey, to be comfortable, but we're still trying to grow and reach. But, feeling that we're stuck somewhere, and that's not good. We want to feel that we're constantly trying to move forward step by step. So definitely.
I feel like the current climate that we're in, with even though as awful as COVID has been, I've heard stories from a few people that I know and some of my friends now that have said that it's made them rethink what they want to do with their lives.
Yes.
And realize that actually they have stagnated a bit, and they have become a little bit, as you say, too comfortable. And yeah, so I think that this period of time where we've had a little bit more perhaps space to evaluate and think about what we would like in our lives, for some people it actually has enabled them to perhaps go and take that risk that they weren't thinking of doing before, or go and take that course that you've been wanting to do for a few years, but sort of haven't pushed yourself to do it, and this kind of thing, So yeah, I think good things can come out of things that seem.
It's true. I mean, we do have to take a look at, just go to gratefulness. A lot of times is what I try to do when I feel that things aren't right. But you're right that it's, even in the midst of the bad, there has been a lot of good. I've been blessed during this COVID time, and a lot of people complain that they lost work, but my classes went online, and
Yeah.
I just continued teaching. My schedule was just as full as it was when we were in person. So It was a real
Oh,
blessing that I was able to continue working and that everyone decided that they wanted to go online. I shouldn't say everyone. There were some people who did stop, but there was a majority who felt like, okay, sure, we'll go online. And so I was able to continue working. So it was a blessing for me. So I just keep my mouth shut when people say like, oh, they're complaining about it. Because I get it. It wasn't for everybody. So, but in my case as
mm.
well, I was very blessed and grateful for the opportunity to still work. How long did you close your school for?
Right. So in the UK, last year, so 2020 was when we first went into lockdown, and I think it was in March, the end of March. So I closed from the end of March to about September, October time. I then reopened for about 1 month only in
Oh,
October,
wow.
and then we had to close again. So, so we closed again until last month, and then I reopened again last month. But
Now you guys are
but like
fully in person again?
no, so like yourself, when we went into lockdown, a lot of things went online. So for me too, I was very fortunate that um, people were sort of just had that expectation, or they were sort of quite grateful that I was still able to offer lessons.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly.
I,
Many people here too.
I feel like even if our studio, with our in-person studio, if I had just said to students, "Hey, would you like to go online?" they might not have wanted that
It's true.
because they were so used to, because they were comfortable, they were used to the in-person classes
It's
and I
true.
completely get that. I almost think that you have to show people, they have to experience what it's like to have an online class, and once they experience it and they see it for themselves, that it's not that different and you can still have a great quality class when it's online, then they were fine.
It's true.
And
You're right.
the strange thing is, a lot of students have decided to stay online rather than go back to in person with us.
Yeah, same here,
So
right? Some people the same. They've just decided they're comfortable. They're at home. They can finish and close that laptop down and just roll out.
yeah, absolutely. So it's been unexpected, but yeah, I've actually got sort of a hybrid at the moment. So we have students that would still like to continue with their online classes, and then some students that the online wasn't for them, or they just wanted to wait, and that's fine. So those students have gone back to in person.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I guess the same here. I shouldn't say that. That's a lie. Everybody's back in person. I have a lot of new students that have started online, so I've never met them. But the ones who are
Oh
in
yeah,
person
makes
have
sense.
all returned in person. We, of course, are wearing masks for the lessons, and there's alcohol and air cleaner on and windows open. And so, and we haven't had any
Mm-hmm.
issues, and people are disinfecting when they enter the door and wearing slippers. So, yeah, it's been nice
Mm-hmm.
to definitely to see people again. Do you find as a teacher that sometimes you become more than a teacher? Meaning that sometimes the students are dealing with things that are happening in their lives and they just can't do the lesson, but they still come and they bring whatever they were dealing with them to the lesson and still try, but sometimes they can't, or they just need to talk or to chat. Do you find that's ever happened to you where the student just, you end up becoming the counselor or, something of that sort instead of
Mm-hmm.
actually teaching a music lesson?
Definitely, I've had it quite a few times where, yeah, either a student. I have had it a few times where a student just wants to come in and chat.
Hmm.
And I had it a few times where a student, well, they come in and I can kind of see that they're a little bit distracted or they're a little bit upset about something.
Hmm.
And then at that point, we might either stop or they might want to just carry on. I've had it that way as well, where somebody sort of just comes to the lesson as something fun that they can do that takes their mind off whatever the thing is.
Hmm.
And yes, so I do say that this role, I often say it's part teacher and part counselor. Yeah, and
It's true. It's so true.
yeah, it's. I think it's really great, this kind of work, because as I said at the beginning, it's more about going on a journey with the student and coming alongside the student and I just feel like with that, you are going to be, getting a little bit of the what's going on in their everyday lives as well, because we're working with real people in quite a close capacity.
That's true.
So particularly, I would say, actually, out of all the subjects, I would say that singing is the most exposed, in the sense that it's an instrument that comes out of you internally.
Yes.
As opposed to perhaps an external instrument like a piano. And of course, piano is personal as well, but you're not creating the sound from within your own body.
It's true.
So I would say out of all of the subjects that that people that come for singing we might get a little bit more of that sort of their everyday lives and their own personal stuff going on, sort of coming into the class.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that as well, that anybody that perhaps is thinking about going into this kind of work, just as a caveat to that, you do need to find balance. You need to find the balance, because you can't be the only person responsible for what that person is going to do. In the sense that if they do ask you for advice, so say if they are having an issue in an area of their lives and they come to you and they want you to advise them, well, you can do a little bit of that, but I think that a little bit of caution has to be exercised with that.
Okay, please explain.
Well, because we're not professional therapists. We're not. There's an element of counselling that comes into this kind of work, but at the same time, we're not professionally trained to deal with all the kinds of things that might come up in these lessons. So I think what you can do is try your best to support them, to help them, but it always needs to be a focus on what it is that they are coming there for. So if they are coming there to learn piano, to act, to sing, the focus really needs to be on there, because otherwise you can spend the whole session and it turns into a counselling session, whereas we're not necessarily equipped for that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it's explained very clearly. I get it, definitely.
Yeah.
Do what you can do, and when it steps out of that, then you direct them to someone who focuses in that area where they can get the best attention. Definitely.
And I think as well, not being worried or concerned about signposting them to places, and not being worried that you don't have all the answers, and not being worried if, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to advise that student, or was that the right advice? Was it, not being worried that you don't have the right answers, and not being concerned about signposting them to somebody that might.
You're right. Yeah, no, there's nothing to be worried about. You do what you can do. Definitely.
Absolutely. I would do that in my actual, in the normal teaching that I do with all of the subjects. Sometimes, even if it's a musical question or a question about some sort of an acting technique, us teachers don't know everything. So,
it's true. I'll tell the students as well. Let's find out together if I don't know. Let's search it out.
Absolutely. But always get back to the student. If you say,
please get back to the student.
Because the disappointment that I've had when I've been a child or something, and the teacher might say, I'll get back to you on that one, and they never do.
Oh,
not good.
No, it's not good.
Yeah. So if I don't know about something, I'll be honest about it. I'll be like, I'm not quite sure about that, but let me find out, or let's find out together, like you said. And, that way, I find that students, they're more generous than what you would think.
And it's honest, right? Like, how are we supposed to know everything? Just because we're teachers, right?
Absolutely.
So ideally being able to say, I don't know, is an answer. So I think that it's fair to just let them know, hey, we can find this out together. Or, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
My kids are always teaching me something about what's happening in the music, the latest this, the latest that. So, and I love it. We learn together. I laugh. I'm like, I didn't waste 24 hours. I learned something new. So my grandmother used to say, if you don't learn anything new within 24 hours, you've wasted a whole day. So ideally, I'd catch those moments of learning for sure.
And we're not going to know all these songs that these 6-year-olds are listening to, are we? So
Okay, I don't teach 6-year-olds, but even the teenagers that are coming in, I'm like, who is this? They're always
yeah,
introducing me to new music, so it's quite exciting because maybe some of the genres aren't things that I'm listening to in my playlist, but I'm always happy to feel like I can find out about a new singer or some new song and feel like, okay, thank you guys. Teach me.
yeah,
We can
yeah,
learn together.
yeah, absolutely.
Can I ask you, who has been the most influential person in your life?
I wouldn't say that there's any one person.
Okay,
It would
people.
be, yeah, yeah. I'm not entirely sure if there's anybody specific, but I would say in terms of attitudes and work ethic and that kind of thing. But of course, I come from a Japanese mum, so work ethic is work ethic is crazy, And yeah, I think because I come from, so I would say that my parents, because I come from two parents there, and they are both very hardworking and they've got a great work ethic.
Nice.
And yeah, some of my sort of my worldviews and principles and work ethic, I would say, would come from them.
Oh, they would be so happy to hear that. Well, they can listen back after when it's
They can listen. I'll be sending this to them.
when this is on. They're gonna be like, oh, yeah, that's a great
Yeah.
answer. Definitely. I mean, hey, being a parent is not. It's a lifetime job. Like I think the hardest part is when people are growing up and you being in the house but when you become adult, they still are involved. My mom is sending me birthday cards all the way here to Japan.
Oh, really? Oh.
And they land on the day. My sister and I always laugh. We're like, she has some deal with the postman. Like, it
How
lands
does
on the
that
day.
happen?
Isn't that so special? And she writes in it, and she's writing in cursive, number one, which they don't even teach anymore in the schools. So it's just, but to put a card in the mail and put a stamp on it, like people don't do that anymore.
Yeah,
They're sending
yeah.
like an e-card, like.
Oh no, I don't like these e-cards as much. If I'm going to send cards, I'll be sending it old school.
Yeah, I like it. And it just takes a little bit more care and it just shows that people have gone just a little bit more out of their way to show that they really care about you when they put a card in the mail. I really do. I think
Yeah,
it's extra sweet.
yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely.
Well, in closing, let me ask you one final question. Is your glass half empty or half full?
Does that depend on your perspective?
It does. Everybody's answer has been different, so whatever you decide. There's
I
no
would say,
wrong answer.
yeah, I would say it depends on your perspective. For me, it's going to be half full, but it does
Okay.
depend on your perspective. But yeah, of course, for me, it's going to be half full because
Okay.
it's
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, because I always prefer to see the positives and to see the things that I have got
Mm-hmm.
rather than to see the things that are empty or that I haven't got. I just think it's more enjoyable that way, and
Oh,
it gets
that's
more
cute.
done.
I like that. I like that. It gets more done.
I
Nina, do you have any final thoughts for any of our listeners today?
would say if there is anybody considering the sort of thing that we've done, starting their own business, or they have a business idea and they sort of think, oh, maybe it might be cool to work for myself,
Mm-hmm.
and this kind of thing, I'd just like to say anybody can do it. And I know that sounds like, for a lot of people, it's very overwhelming when you're first starting to think about opening a business. But if I can do it, anybody can do it. It just takes hard work and, perseverance. And if you've got the right attitude and you work hard, anyone can do it.
Yes. You've heard it. You heard it. Excellent. Can you tell everyone how they can reach you if they want to send you an email or check out your school?
Sure. So our website is hikariarts.com. So that's HIKARI and then arts, ARTS.com. And then if you'd like to send me an email, it's nina@hikariarts.com. So that's NINA@hikariarts.com.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Nina, for taking some time out to be a guest on Glass Half Full. We're happy to have you today.
No worries. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. And we'll definitely have to have you back next season. Definitely.
Sounds good. Always happy to be on.
Thank you so much. You have a great afternoon.
Okay. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you. And thank you for all our listeners for tuning in to another episode of Glass Half Full, a safe platform for everyone to share their life experiences. Once again, I'm your host, Chris Levens. Please subscribe, follow, and rate this podcast for more learning experiences. Until next time, be blessed.